Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here, Alliance's Performance Shop of Lone Star Mopars.com. Monday night, just about 9:20, and trying to have a good time here. Mac Tool Monday, Mopar Monday, whatever you want to call it. But last night we were rudely interrupted, literally, to run and take care of some business in that video abruptly. But we got a really sweet deal. This technically goes back to Flyer 10, but I sort of waited and purchased it after the fact. The purple grew on me. I've wanted the flex head, particularly 3/8 13-inch locker, for a long time. That's been like a train wreck. I'll never know if or when it would happen. There it was. As mentioned, the purple's nice. It's also got me my first ever fixed head axis. Everything else previously has been flex. And where I kind of left it, one of the key takeaways was if you enjoyed seeing this, you're going to like what you see next. Some of you may know right where this is headed. And what I will do, I'll just go ahead. Timestamps, links, all that stuff's down below. I'll be straight up honest. I don't know that I can link to this. I've covered ad nauseum issues with Mac's website, but this is what I got. It barely fits, doesn't quite fit in the frame. Dimension wise, let's just go ahead and knock that out end to end, depending on how you want to orient this in your drawer. 19 1/8, just a little over 19 inches, top to bottom, side to side, however you want to view it. Width, about 5 1/4. And then your height, I'm sorry, 5 inches exactly, I think. And then your height, bottom of the orange to the top of this gray, 1 1/4 inches, give or take. So, what this was on the cover of Flyer number 11, and it's basically chalking in at $579. And yeah, I agree, that is a good chunk of money. But you got to think about what you're getting. Ignoring the foam, which we can put value on, you got your 1/4 inch flex head. These are all extended length, okay? So 1/4 by 9 inch, 3/8 by 13, and 1/2 by 18. To put this in perspective for you, if you were to go in and purchase these standalone, which currently you cannot do with orange and green. Hopefully, again, I kind of hit on that with the purple, like, hey, what if you really liked the purple and you wanted your 1/4 and your 1/2? Well, if you really like the green and the orange, I hope you like flex heads. Because right now, if you just fell in love with that, the Ratchet Action, everything about it, the handle was a perfect size for you, and you're like, hey, I got to get a fixed, just get me a little, maybe that 9 inch right there. Currently, there is no orange 3/8 by 9 inch long ratchet. There's no green. There's no green 18-inch fix. There's no green 13-inch locking flex head. It's sort of an unknown, right? Tread this cautiously. My advice, like if you're all about orange, if it's your favorite color, if you loved Axis ratchets, but you're like, yeah, I don't really like the red, or the bare handle's okay, but I'd prefer something with a grip on it. You're the one that can go ahead and pull the trigger. If you're somebody that's a completionist, that, hey, everyone at work, all the colors are taken, but purple's not, right? It's too new of a thing. There's only Matco prior to this, right? Or odds and ends, hard handle snap-on. If you're just trying to do that, this would be a great place to start. But like I said, there's currently no knowledge on if there will be 1/4, if there will be 1/2, if there will be just a standard flex head, if there will be the full complement of Axis ratchets. I wish I could tell you. I don't know. This is one of the reasons. Number one, the orange and the purple, complementary colors. They look really good together. But, it's a crapshoot. You're rolling the dice here. If you're the green guy, if you're green tool people, there's probably way more green tool people than purple or orange combined. You got this, you may love it, but again, what if you want a fixed head, right? Or what if you just need a standard or a tiny 1/4? I don't know if it's going to happen. So tread cautiously, remain optimistic. Tell your driver, your dealer, if they have the district manager with them, harp on him. Go on social media and push for it. Mac is very behind the times here. They're slow to get this done. Kudos to them for doing it, and they've executed it quite nicely. But at the same time, there's an unknown here, right? So kind of have to proceed with caution. But back to that, I totally agree, it's expensive. This is your big chunk of change here. This is 1/2 inch drive, 18-inch long, flex head. If you were to just walk on the truck and buy the comfort grip, which we're going to just default that to red, you would be looking at about 250 bucks right there. Your 3/8 13-inch, you're looking at around 180. And then this little guy, you're thinking like, yeah, that's good savings. They're up to 165, which is kind of crazy. I think I remember I got my 1/4 x 9-inch, which, yes, we have this in red at work. I think I got that one right before the price went up, and I don't know that it went up that high. So these, if you're trying to do this through their website, good luck. It's not going to happen currently. Okay. If you see this and you've got to cash in, or you're like, hey, orange isn't my thing, but you're telling me there's green, there totally is. I would have gotten a picture for you. I posted it on YouTube and Instagram. I couldn't get the green because my day is Wednesday, and my driver sold all of his green sets on Monday and Tuesday. So it kind of sucked for me. I didn't even get to see it. My pry bars, if you recall, at work are green. The good news is I kind of plan to keep these at home. But yeah, will there be purple foam? Who knows? This is all kind of up in the air. But you kind of got your cash there, right? So again, to recap it, 250, 180, 165, you add all that up, you're just shy of 600. It is 595. That is a good chunk of metal right there. And again, these are kind of longer than usual, right? Even with some sort of higher end brands, you may not see ratchets available in links this size. Tool trucks, yes. Maybe some heavy industrial stuff, sure. But there's various brands that are pretty well respected, great performing ratchets, and they kind of shy away from this stuff in part. Like, this is a long 1/4 drive. You can exert some serious leverage. And what happens when you do that? They break. They break at a more disproportionate rate than ASA DIN ISO standard, which is kind of relegating you back to, you're not going to shear this off type of a thing. So that all comes into play. I'm not sure what the foam would cost. What I'm going to do now is run you through this. I do timestamps. If you don't care about part numbers, that's cool. I understand. But for people that are going to attempt to call in, because I hit on this all the time. Obviously, I like Mac, right? But I will call out what needs to be called out, and their procedure for getting flyer deals for people that don't have a driver is insanity. You got to call them, literally call them. You cannot, if this was even on the website, which it isn't, at least at this point in time, it would be there at full price. You can't get it for the flyer price unless you call them. Again, makes zero sense. Imagine KC Tools' tool of the day. You had to physically call them. I would miss out all the time because I wouldn't have time during normal business hours. I purchase crud 11 p.m. to like 3 a.m. Okay, that's my prime time. That's when I get to do stuff. I can't call. I can call. I could call Mac then, but guess what? Nobody's there, so transaction doesn't happen. Blows my mind. It's Stanley Black & Decker. They've got the people. They've got the means to make this better. They need to do it. So just running you through everything. If you do call in, you want to ask for part number AXIS. That's AXISFPA. If you want green, you're going to put GR. If you want orange, it's OR-BDL. That's basically AXIS FPA. Think of that as code for like flex head ratchet. Green or orange is your GR or OR. And then the dash BDL, I presume, would be bundle. That's what you're going to need to convey. I will warn you, the ladies were very, very nice. I give them credit for that. Super nice. One of them was amazing. Like, totally dateable, if she was local. But here's the problem. They'll either tell you, oh, I'm sorry, it's sold out. Or if they sell it to you, there's a very good chance within a week you get an email and your order is canceled. I'm just telling you firsthand feedback from me. All right? Because I went through this before I had the Mac guy stopping. What they claim, though, you'd get all this for $579. It's a $40 savings. So if I've added these up, and keep in mind, a ton of this stuff is out of stock. I'm talking red handles. Shouldn't be a premium for the colors. But a ton of it's out of stock, so the prices might be higher. But you're at 16 bucks if we add these individually. Difference, $579 to $595, and that would put the foam at $25. I cannot imagine Max selling this foam for $25. I don't know what's going on there. I'm just telling you what I can. If you ever want to try and hunt for these standalone, like let's say that you're like me, you've got this ratchet, you've got that ratchet, but you really want the 1/2 inch, you'd love to have it in orange or green. These are the part numbers you can go by. 1/4 by 9 inch flex head, MR 990 FPA, O for orange, G for green. 3/8 13 inch, top of the frame here. You're going to need XR 1390 AFPA, O for orange, G for green. 1/2 by 18, middle of the foam here, VR 1890 FPA, O for orange, G for green. I'll tell you right now, not only is none of the orange on the website and none of the green is on the website, if you back in these part numbers, you'll find the bare metal handle and you'll find their standard comfort handle, which looks just like this, but in red. And I even have a part number for the foam. And spoiler alert, it is also not on the website. The part number for that foam, should you... This is what really sucks. Maybe, I guess with the orange and the green, you wouldn't have it, but let's say that you did this bundle. You're thinking like, well, I bet I could wedge that 9 inch, even though it's 3/8 in there, and my 13 inch locker will fit there. I already have a 1/2 inch. I'd love to have the foam. PTX, that's P Texas 5E dash Flex, FLEX, RAT, RAT 3 underscore, that's going to be for your orange or your green. So basically PTX 5E hyphen Flex Rat 3 O or G. All right. So boring stuff aside, if you don't have a dealer, if your dealer flaked, if everyone has broken stuff and he quit coming, if you had like a meth head working with you for 2 months and he burned your guy and he said, screw that shop, I'm never going there. If you just simply don't have a Mac guy in your area, you got to call in. You can use those numbers to get you going. If you, let's say that, you bought the 1/2 by 18 and you have the 1/4, but you're like, man, I really want the 3/8, and hey, I don't care that mine are bare handle and red, I really want this in orange or green. You could call them and try to get that. I don't know if they're going to sell them individually. I don't know if they have any. Again, their website is way beyond the times here. It's just bad. There's no excuse for it. Again, obviously we've thrown a ton of money here. I'm a fan. I like their stuff. This is mainly based off of Proto, right, and past experience of Mac. But like their handles really, really well, enough to pay extra just to get their handles over some of the standard equivalents, if you will. But I will totally knock them where I've got to, and there's no reason that they shouldn't have a better setup for me and for you, because it's going to ultimately benefit them, right? I would have bought a 3/8 by 13 inch locking flex head so long ago, it's not even funny if I could have done it. When stuff is out of stock, just ignore your orange, purple, and green. We'll just go standard stuff. When stuff is out of stock, it becomes extremely difficult to find. They bury it. I guess that's kind of nice, because then you don't have somebody trying to buy it. But at the same time, if you got a part number, you're like, hey, I need my Ratchet. The thing is gone. It rolled off in Miss Johnson's Camry somewhere to Idaho. You've got the part number, and you just come up, and it's like page of the very last listing or some group deal with a drop-down box that's out of stock. You have no idea when they're going to come back in. I waited so long for that thing. Again, that's one of the big reasons it's there in purple. It's just a kind of a cumbersome pain to deal with. Again, calling in, that is very, very problematic for me. I'm at work when they're at work, okay? I don't usually get my morning or afternoon break. If I do, it's like strung out. If I get lunch, I'm usually trying to eat because it's interrupted. I don't typically have the 10 to 15 minutes to call in and chat with someone and try to make all this happen, okay? Your mileage may vary. You might get like that hour, you might get 15-minute break, no interruptions. You might run out to your truck every break and know you got the time. Boss man might be lenient. You might just be able to sit there on the clock and call it. I don't know. But for me, it totally sucks, and it's cost them a lot of money over the years. That said, everything bad aside, this is pretty cool. Seeing orange and seeing green from Mac, awesome, just like the purple. Again, I like all of them. I like all the colors, so it works well for me. I wish they had blue. Now that I've heavily invested in orange and purple, and I've got green pry bars and stuff, we'll probably have blue show up not too long after, because that's just how things go, and you're welcome. But anyway, why they chose to launch that together as a bundle and this as a bundle, I couldn't tell you. Again, it is what it is. But ignoring that, let's get back to the price point. Just shy of $579. I'm going to call that just shy of $600 with tax. It would be over that. That's a lot of money, even when you factor all this stuff in. So you got to look at this like it's a lifetime investment. If you go out and shear the head off this thing on week 2, you're getting it replaced. You have to view it that way to come remotely close to justifying the price, because there is a lot of stuff for fractions of the money that will perform or that will come with a similar lifetime warranty. All right, that's just the straight facts. Love that it's American, love that it's made in my home state, but that's a lot of money. Now, what I can tell you is I did not pay the flyer price for that. Anything? No way, I got screwed. I bought the green one and I had to pay the flyer price. Here's what I did. I got very lucky. My 1/4 by 9 inch is at work, and that thing is beat up, okay? It's floppy, the Loctite from the fastener here is coming out, right? Like, I guess it's, you can actually see some here. I guess it's maybe not that big of a deal. But see the blue right there? That would be Loctite, your thread sealer, okay? Mine carries really heavy. It's like my 3/8 always has 15/16 on it, okay? This sucker right here is usually sporting a 7/16, half, or 9/16. That's the upper echelon of 1/4 drive socketry. All right, for you metric people, that's like 11 to 14-ish. All right, big sockets for 1/4 drive. So it's a lot of weight. This right here, I've just got like blue puking out of it. And see how, like, that's not like super firm, but it's pretty stiff, right? It'll hold a position. Mine is loosey-goosey, and of course I could tighten that and all would be good in the hood, but it's a fantastic ratchet. I bought it for a reason. I wanted a longer 1/4 drive ratchet, and again, to do stuff like that, you kind of have to go up a notch usually. You're not going to be able to run in, to Home Depot and be like, oh, there's my, giant 1/4 drive ratchet. It's been great. It's broken in. This is pretty dadgum smooth. I mean, even coming back on itself, that's what I really like about it. This feels about the same, but it is broken in beautifully. I have zero complaints with that ratchet. But if some of you recall, I had this ratchet in red. I did not take that to work. Luckily, in part because I have a big Coke in there, but I kept it here because I had a video plan to compare some stuff. I was trying to keep it in pristine condition, and if it goes to work, that ship has sailed. So it was just kind of chilling over here, and I didn't think to do it with the purple, because again, I'm like, oh, I'm going to make a comparison video with this, in part with a locker. And here's the deal. I was like, hey, the Mac guy texted me, he was like, hey, you need me to stop by? I'm headed your direction. And I was like, I just got an idea. And I asked him, I was like, hey, if just theoretically, if I had a 3, because he's told me, like, he prefers the default. He likes bare metal, and he likes the black and the red, because it's just standard People are accepting of it. Again, he has trouble selling orange, which has worked to my benefit. He doesn't sell much SAE, and people don't buy orange. The green, yes, but the orange, not really. So, again, I like orange. It works great. But I theoretically ran it by, and I was like, let's just say that I happen to have a mint condition 3/8 by 13-inch flex head. Because I keep tabs on his inventory. I kind of look up at the roof, right? And I noticed, it was slim pickings for the comfort grips. And he was cool about it. He traded me straight up, gave me full retail value for that thing. So I got to put it towards this, and instead of paying around $600, I basically paid $400. So that makes this a really good deal. When you consider, again, this is $250, this 1/2 by 18-inch. That's $150 for these two. That's less than this cost, and we're getting the foam. Yeah, that's a pretty sweet setup there. So again, big thanks to him for taking that thing. I'm sure it's probably going to be easier for him to sell than this, but it worked out well for me. It worked out well for him. We're both happy. There you go. So again, I didn't get like some special, like, oh, here, mystery. I don't tell people I do tool videos, or anything. So it's kind of under the radar. But anyway, this is a banging deal at $400. Yes, I had to trade in a Ratchet that's brand new, but I don't look at it that way, because guess what? And I think I say this every time I've done one of the Mac Ratchets in red. I would prefer any other color, and I say that because I genuinely mean it. This is epic. I love this way more than the red, and I'm thrilled about it. So just viewing this as a straight up trade, basically $400 there, I'll take it. So it is what it is, right? So what I want to know from you, or you can chime in here, many of you are going to have used Mac Axis ratchets, whether they're fixed, lockers, or flex heads. Kind of have a feeling the flex head might be the most popular. What's your experience? Some of you might love them. Greatest ratchet you've ever owned. Best thing you've got. They're spendy. You're trying to save up and get some others. You like them okay, but Snap-on's better. You went down this like crazy tool connoisseur route, and man, you used to think your Mac Axis was great, but now you've got a Stavilla that you love, and you've got Coke and stuff. And, where does it rank on the hierarchy? Again, I can tell you this little guy is fantastic, but the problem is I have not had it very long, right? I don't have like 5 years even with it, let alone 10, 20 years with this stuff. So where my opinions with this guy, very valid, that's over a relatively short period of time. So that said, I'm kind of taxing it using the huge quarter drive size of sockets on it, but it's been really good to me. I will say, and I believe I mentioned this on this video and that video back when they were the 1/4 and 3/8 in red, my biggest complaints, they're just kind of thin on the handle. And that's funny, because like with the pry bars, Mayhew, Dominator, I like the handle. Mac, I love the handle. I love what they did. It's the same bar. That's why I'm willing, like, you kind of have to be crazy to pay more when you're getting the same thing. But what's different, it's not just the color. I might actually prefer Mayhew's green, honestly. But that handle, I love it. I've got the Mayhew. I've had them for a long time. The video corrupted, but they're strikeable screwdrivers that Mac is pushing as new, even though they've had them for months. That makes no sense. It's like $140 Mac price. I probably paid like less than half of that for Mayhew, and that was when they were like brand new. They're not terrible. I critiqued the snot out of those. It's a shame that video corrupted, but like all the part lines and everything, just kind of nitpicking it. But they're fine. They hold up really good, particularly the striking cap, but I would much rather have the Mac handled version. Now, the price point to get to that point is kind of questionable. You sort of have to wait for a deal to justify it. When you're privy to these things, when like, oh, hey, they're private labeling this product for this company, makes it really hard sometimes to justify spending more unless you have solid reason, right? That's kind of what I have there. So while I don't hate this, In fact, it's actually nice. My complaint is that, one, you know the drill with me. This is very close to being perfect. Again, it's like this much of my thumb. I would prefer had a comfort grip there. But two, it's a little too thin. I will tell you, this is significantly thinner than some of the other ratchets that I highly favor. This is almost Koken Z-Series-esque, maybe a little bit bulkier, particularly when you get up in size. But I know some of you hate like the snap-on handle. You don't like Hazette's 9/16". It's too big, you say. The comfort grip is too encumbersome, right? This might be right up your alley. I'm not telling you to go out and buy this, but if you can get on the truck or a buddy's got one, this might be what the doctor ordered, the Mac Axis handle. So I really do like it. Pretty much every ratchet I ever have, I complain about this, you know, wishing it was a little bit taller. But these are very, very thin. That would be my biggest complaint. The 3/8, the 1/2 inch, it sort of mitigates that a little bit more. Still a little under what I would prefer, but it's not as egregious. There's, like I always call the Koken quarter stuff dainty. This is like very, very close to getting that label. The 3/8 and 1/2, again, not as bad, just something I would kind of call undersized. But again, it's so stupid close to what I want to see. Same thing here with a 1/2 inch. It's pretty much almost spot on there. But 1/4x9, I've covered the part numbers for you. These tags come off beautifully. I was very, very miffed. They look hideous. They did it to the purple. They even did it to these ones in the foam. It's almost impossible to get them off with gloves on my hand, but they come off great. I'm super grateful Mac did that and doesn't leave a chunk of adhesive there with crud be gone or something you have to use. Super smooth. The selector switch is great. The quarter drive, Mac probably takes the cake for coolest selector switch. Not that that's a huge thing, but it is worth noting. You can see they've got the really nice logo there, but then this has USA. Again, kind of space constraints is what you need to think of. Right here on your 3/8, check this out. You got USA, you've got on and off for the idiots, and you've got the American flag there. This is super, super cool. Channel lock does that with some stuff. It's little things. Vera, to their credit, they often have, you know, like their little craft form logo, if you will, on a selector switch. Now this, we've never had a 1/2 inch Mac ratchet. You can see it really well there, and that is just stupid cool. So really, really neat. I will tell you, I thought these would have come like cellophaned up, right? You know, like protect the goods, but they did not. And so there's a lot of fingerprints. These were handled by people. Particularly what sucks, Mac puts that little red cap on these. I took them off, but that kind of chewed up the foam a little bit. You can kind of see there, that's literally because of that red cap they put on there, so they might want to rethink that. If you get on the truck, maybe check around. If there's like, if they're side by side, you're probably screwed, but if they're stacked, you might go down one and get one that hadn't been like handled and caressed by 18,000 strangers. So right here, we've never heard this before. Kind of awkward, you know, this handle is like massive back here. That sounds crunchy. It actually does not feel as bad as it sounds. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. But I've noticed 1/2 inch, I don't know if it's like the echo chamber, the resonance. So many brands, the 1/2 inch is like totally foreign to how their 1/4 and 3/8 are. Makes no sense, but there must be something to it. I will tell you right now, if you look carefully at these, if you didn't pay close attention to the last video where we got the Barneys in, this has a different head, right? And what I mean by that, where this is like beautiful, you grab this 1/2 inch back up here, look at that gloriousness, right? Just pure in-your-face Americana chrome. If we spin it around, you've got fasteners right here, sort of your plates being held in. Some of you may not like that. Some of you know what kind of problems can arise from that. Mac knows what kind of problems can arise from that, because, timed that out because we were about 10 seconds from it doing it manually. Look what they've done here to the 3/8. The 3/8 is the first ratchet drive size for Mac to revise. And by revise, what I mean is not necessarily like, ooh, this is a 100 tooth. No, this is still your 90 tooth axis mechanism. But what they've done right there is they've got the fastener on the top side. Think aviation, think common sense. If we're sitting here, you've got a previous gen, I've got this one. Our ratchets have done the exact same work. We're right mirrored across each other on an assembly line, building jet engines or something. Guess what happens? Mine, the cover plate might start to back out a little bit. You can kind of see the thread locker there. Just like I showed you earlier with the quarter drive, that green, that's thread locker, and it's clearly not blue. So they may have upped the ante a bit there. But if, let's say, you had the previous gen, you've got this, and guess what happens is you're sitting over here, torquing down on bolts, 89,512. These are backing out, and there's only so much thread that's possible here, right, with this head thickness. So if that backs out enough, blink, and if you get really unlucky, the plate spins, maybe some internals move around, could have a check ball or spring drop out. Maybe they back out simultaneously. Maybe it like freaks you out and you turn it in a panic, and then boom, the whole thing falls apart in grenades. Stavilla, FOD, falling object damage, foreign object damage, right? Things are done this way for a reason. And I guess they've kind of made note of it and said, what can we do to improve and correct this? And then that is the corrective measure they've taken. So right here, I follow things fairly closely. I distinctly remember when the Axis ratchets came out. This is quite some time ago now, like, geez, 2018? Maybe it was, could have been before then. But I think when the half inches hit, I think people had that problem where the screws were backing out. Don't hold me to that. Maybe it was a different drive. I feel like it was half inch if I remember correctly. So again, thread locker, eventually kind of pipelining it through R&D and engineering and getting that. At some point in time, if you're like, man, these are sweet, I'm going to wait. If your wait for orange, purple, or green standard ratchets turns into like 2 years, there's a good chance your quarter and your half inch might have the fasteners top down, if you will. So keep that all in mind. This is a pretty good pairing here. So for 3/8 drive, we've got a 9-inch, which again, a little longer than usual, 13-inch flex and a 13-inch locker. Pretty happy with that. The orange and purple, in my opinion, look fantastic. Max green is light, like not even like Alpha Glove Light, maybe a shade lighter than that. I assume that's what they did with their ratchets and with the foam. Again, I sadly didn't get to see any of them before they sold out, but based on the screwdrivers, the pry bars, the everything green that I've seen, that's what I'm going to just apply across the board there. We did run into an issue, kind of a concerning issue, when we did socket fitment on these. They sort of pop. And not all of them, but some of them, and I hate that. I absolutely freaking hate that. What I did, I grabbed a couple more. This is just kind of a 15/16 12 point. Funny story on that. I put it on and it popped. Again, I don't know. And the sad thing is, this is proto, right? These are like friends. They're in the same factory type of a thing. It obviously is not like it's going to come off, but like you can see right there, if you were wrenching on something, let's say you're on the side of a control arm, I mean, you've got a little bit of play there. It's not going to be the end of your world, but I would prefer something that's a little bit better fitment. And, I don't know what to tell you. This is a 1-inch Koken. I guess we should switch over here since we've done that. My apologies. You're thinking like, hey, is this going to happen? Nope, it kicks it. The 15/16 Proto. Again, not terrible, but like, that bothers me, historically have been a quick release person. You know, maybe that's part of the deal, but I also have some stuff I've coupled and cobbled together. I go global. I'm just not Mr. Americana or German tools only, or ooh, Japan's exquisiteness. No, 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 no. It's a hodgepodge of everything, and throw in some cheap junk too. So this is sort of just kind of a pet peeve of mine. Right here, this is a right 15/16. Again, I want you to pay attention here. That didn't do it, but as I spin it, did you see the distance? Right? It just kind of slowly over time works its way. It's strange, and I don't know that Mac has an Axis ratchet with a quick release mechanism, actually. So I guess, again, particularly with something like that and the extra lengths, what can a company do to mitigate warranty claims or bad impressions? Because, like, oh, hey, I bought that right off the truck and broke it that day. This is inherently stronger than something with the quick release and the anvil, right? So you sort of have to look at it from both sides. Right here, the SK, this is what's concerning. It's not every socket that does it. That rides like a dreamboat, okay? Sort of the same thing we saw in Purple Land over there. So you're thinking like, okay, well, hey, is it just exclusively held back by 3/8 drive? Well, let's check this text message and drop this thing on. That's actually 3/8. This right here, what is this? This is 5/8. Boom. I'm pulling that, but it didn't ride off. This is a proto socket. Make it make sense, right? I'm gonna come in here. I've got Koken 9/16. That's fantastic. If we come in next, what did I grab? I got a hodgepodge here. Here's a right, I think a 1/2 inch or something. It's fantastic, no issue. I did grab an SK Deep just to spice things up for you. Good Lord, I apologize. Millions of texts means it's probably important. That's a dream machine, okay? I cannot explain this stuff. Everything should be machined to standard, right? It's all functional. It's not near as egregious as some of the stuff we've had, but it still bothers me. It's still an element of concern. What I want to do here with a 1/2 inch, we're going to even spice it up some more for you. I could go grab proto impacts. I'm not going to do that. I've got this impact. You're like, well, what is that? This is a Hazette. Sort of a one-off investigative thing. But check this out. This one's got the through pin, so I'm going to line it up with the ball detent. That went on great, but look at that play. Oh, that's not a fan of that at all. Again, it's not like this is going to drop off by any stretch of the imagination, right? It's just the fitment bothers me. This is totally 100% functional. I would have no qualms using it. It might be annoying with the play, but 100% functional. Just odd. All right. This right here, this is a really cool setup. This is a Gador 1.25 inch. And you're thinking like, what would you do with that? Chrysler crank bolts. That's what we would do. So, 1.1 inch, I should say. But, look at that. It's kind of popping. It's not, again, nothing that I'm concerned about, like my safety. It's not like I'm going to put some torque on this thing and it's going to fly off, just release the socket on the fastener type of a concern. It's just interesting how that pans out. It seems like the 3/8 Gador seated really, really well on that one. My last trick, the last socket that I grabbed, we could get more diversity if we wanted to. I could go grab my old Craftsman stuff or cheap impacts I use all the time. This is a Stavilla 19mm 1/2 inch drive deep. This is the only deep Stavilla socket I own. Again, just, it's not terrible. Like, in fact, this one doesn't seat back any more than that. I can't make it make sense. I just know what I see. That's what I report back to you. But I have to tell you, I am very excited about that. These are all going to stay here. In fact, prior to recording this, I came out. I finally, like, I have all these German ratchets over in this Husky box. And there's really no space for these, so I went down a drawer. And that's kind of where I was parking the American stuff and some Carlisle, this and that. I have all these, like, you know, American sockets over in this other box, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to move them over there. And that's what I did, so there is that. But, yeah, I've never used a Mac half-inch axis ratchet. Got to get some seat time on it. This, again, I don't really have much seat time there because I was able to trade that in, testament to that. But this one, oh yes, the quarter drive has been fantastic. So, spendy little couple of trips with the Mac guy here the last 2-3 weeks or so, but got some really cool stuff. And again, you have to look at this as a big investment because it is, but you have to look at it as kind of like a lifetime deal. Now, lucky for us, because again, I hit on this with the purple ratchets. What happens if I go and I take this sucker and, you know, I'm on a control arm on a, I don't know, we're dropping a K-member out of something, right? We have a slant 6 car, we need the V8 K-member. What if I'm just reefing on this thing and wow, you know, we have catastrophic failure. With this flex head, I get a new head, right? That's the way Mac does stuff. I guess if they can rebuild it, they rebuild it, but otherwise I just get a new head kit, right? What if I split the handle? You know, I don't know how I do it. You know, maybe we got like a like a jack handle on the end of it, you know, way back here on the handle. Something happens, we bend it, we mangle it, we can't straighten it. I don't know. Do they have this? Like, it's not snap-on. I've talked to my driver, like, I can't pull, because that's what I was thinking of doing. You know, when I saw the purple and the orange and the green were coming months ago, I was like, I got this red I'm not really crazy about. Like, can I just buy the handle? And Mac does not do that. I don't know, like, I could try to take this off, and maybe they totally could. I might be able to make this orange handle go on that locker and the purple come over here. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to try it, because I could put myself up like Stink Creek without a paddle, but that's going to be a limiting factor. Same thing if you're like, oh geez, you know, this, I'm a Harley guy, this orange is perfect, I'm in Tennessee, the Volunteers, the Cleveland Browns, whatever. You know, you just like orange, right? You're into old cars, you got a Hugger orange Camaro, you got a Hemi orange, this or that. This might speak to you. If you then wind up loving the ratchet, like, man, I just got to get this. I just need a 9-inch 3/8, like a 13-inch half, and like a 7-inch quarter fixed head. I am set. I'm selling every other ratchet I own to pay for them. I'm going to have some money left over in the bank. These things are sweet. I don't know if you'll be able to do that, and I don't know when you would be able to do it if you could. So that's sort of, this is exciting stuff, right? To be at the forefront of this, first ever purple, first ever orange. They did do purple on their rotos, but that's like a Taiwanese purple, right? So it's an unknown. You can talk to your driver. My driver's kind of like, I don't know what's going on, man. You know, your driver, probably same thing. Maybe they've attended an extra show mine guy didn't go to. Maybe they have insight. I don't know. That, truth be told, they probably don't know what corporate has planned. Maybe the green just, whoa, you know, exceeded expectations. Screw orange, screw purple. We got to get more green tools, and we got to get them now. What can we put a green handle on, an adjustable wrench? Do it. You know, make it happen yesterday. Maybe that comes into play, you know, and they're just like sales-based. Maybe it's like, okay, hey, you know, all our competitors, you know, at the professional level are doing this. We've got to do it too. We're losing the green tool people, you know. Or, man, you know, we've got so many places that we have these huge accounts with, but it would be nice if Steve and Dwayne could tell their ratchets apart, right? You know, when they cross paths in the workplace, you know, like if they're both Mac comfort grip that are red, whose is whose, right? You know, do you want them etching their names in there, or do you just want to color coordinate it? You know, there's a beauty in this stuff. Orange for teardown, green for assembly, purple for torque. You know, it's more than just personalization sometimes. But at the very minimum, it's personal preference. If I walk on the truck, I'm way more likely to buy this or that than a red one. Okay, like I've told you, any color but red for me. In most cases, you know, it might vary, depends on the shades of certain colors, but you get what I'm saying, right? And that's where we're at now. This is stupid cool. To see this, to make a video on it, to have it, to use it. You might be in gun-ho there, you might have been gun-ho on the green, but you'll face that same dilemma. Like, hey MacMan, when can I buy just a standard 9-inch long 3/8 ratchet fixed head with a green handle? It may never happen. It could happen tomorrow. That's literally where we're at. It's an unknown. At the same time, you're like, well, I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait until it's all there and I can pull the trigger at the same time. Get exactly what I want. No pre-notion to bundle from Mac. I know what I want. This is too redundant for me. I'm going to wait. Here's the problem. If you really want it and you wait, like this was labeled limited. I don't believe these were, for whatever that means. I don't know. But there's a chance that, like, they may never do another purple tool. They may never do orange. I don't know. That is the problem. So, if you have insights there, just not hearsay, you know, but just like, hey, this is what I heard, or I've been asking my driver, pestering him since I knew the orange and green stuff was coming, you know, 4 months ago. This is what he told me. He found some information out. Please, don't just tell me, but tell everyone. It's beneficial to everyone. If you know that the orange is coming in fixed ratchets and every other configuration, you're way more likely to be willing to purchase this. It's beneficial to Mac to let people know. If the purple is going to come once a year and they're going to do half and quarter, you know, and you got to wait like 2 years to get your full complement, it's like possibly not what you would want. People kind of need to know that, right? With that said, though, this thing's going to run out of time here in like 5 minutes. Bottom line, this stuff is stupid cool. It is spendy. It's a little cheaper than Snap-on and Matco. Most of the time, again, kind of depends on deals, sales, maybe just the personal deal you're able to work with your driver. But this will be the test bed, right? This, I based a lot off of this. The initial impressions with the 3/8. And then this, and I liked it. Again, in a perfect world, I'd have a bigger handle, slightly longer handle, and it would be really good. Good grief. My phone does this thing where, like, when tons of text come, it backloads them. It's really annoying. But I'm very excited. Ultimately, I need seat time with these. We'll eventually get a comparison for you. If you want to see it expedited or something, let me know. But the flex head versus the locking flex head, note, key difference here. The yoke comes up like a slingshot here, and what is the head doing here? It's coming around the handle. You got some inherent benefits and pros and cons there. But yeah, this is what we've done. It's been really cool, but really expensive. A couple of last trips with the MacMan, but hey, it is what it is. Hopefully it pays off in the long run. He has been good about warranting stuff for me, so I sort of feel a little bit confident there going forward. And hopefully we don't have any issues with this stuff for a long time. But if we do, feel confident he'll take care of it. I just don't know if I'll wind up with a purple handle again, which is kind of a buzzkill. But yeah, the socket fitment, that's just sort of like a personal thing. Again, this was not bad enough to cause concern. It's just bad enough on some of them to annoy me and make me question things. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you've watched the channel for a while, you should kind of know that. And well, that said, I'm going to quit rambling. I do hope you enjoyed. If you picked the orange or the green bundle up, what do you think of them? How are you liking them? Any issues? What color did you go with and why? If you did, what do you want to see to fill this in? Do you want the fix? Do you want the lockers? What would you like to see in what order? In the odd chance that somebody from Mac sees this, maybe they will take your comments, tabulate them, and be like, this is what we need to do. This is what the people want. You know, this one idiot made a video on it, and there are like 5 other idiots that commented, and this is what these people that are spending money on our trucks say that they want. Let's make it happen. It could work out. Who knows? Like I said, I'm optimistic it all pans out. Maybe, like I said, there's blue in the future. Who knows? Maybe they'll do some weird teal crud beforehand. I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you. But it's a ton of fun. I'm excited to use these things again. This is staying at the house. I'd really like this to go to work. The fixed 9-inch would be a really nice size. Maybe I can talk my dealer into selling me. He said he might break them down. So same thing with these, like if they sit long enough, particularly the orange, then you might be able, it's going to wait the month of the flyer, but then they might go solo. Anyway, whatever I do, I'll keep you posted. I can use these now without fear of, like, ooh, they're, nasty and look bad for the video. Initial impressions are everything, It's super exciting stuff. Can't wait to get some seat time with them. Your thoughts and opinions always appreciated. That said, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Again, leave your thoughts down below. If you subscribe, you ring the bell, you jump your Charger across a creek, crash down, and pick up a foamed 3-piece flex head axis set from your Mac guy. YouTube just might let you know we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching, and I do hope I catch you back here for more from the shop.